Hi.
Yeah. About the money.
Money?
I don't know if we're going to be able to get it over to
What do you mean you don't want to get it? Well,
secondary holding account.
holding account?
We need to get into the other account.
What?
You know, with the state of the music industry nowadays, we get good sales and all.
Ever since I was a kid, everyone said it couldn't be done. My whole life, people have been telling me what I could do and couldn't do. I've always listened to them, believed in what they said. I don't want to do that anymore.
But I want to tell you something that they don't know. They don't know your heart. I do. I've seen it. You have shown it to me. You have shown this coaching staff, your teammates. You have shown yourselves just exactly who you are in here. From the soles of your feet, with every ounce of blood you've got in your body, lay it on the line until the final whistle blows. And if you do that, we cannot lose. How you play today, from this moment on, is how you will be remembered.
Inch by inch, play by play, till we're finished. We're in hell right now, gentlemen. Believe me. You know, when you get old in life, things get taken from you. I mean, that's part of life. But you only learn that when you start losing stuff. We can fight our way back into the light. We can climb out of hell. Every minute, every second. On this team, we fight for that inch. On this team, we tear ourselves and everyone else around us to pieces for that inch. We claw with our fingernails for that inch. Because we know when we add up all those inches, that's gonna make the difference between winning and losing.
Something that they don't know. They don't know your heart.
I don't want to do that anymore.
Inch by inch, play by play, till we're finished. We're in hell right now, gentlemen. Believe me.
So come back here and tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom!
Our Father,
who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, power, and glory, forever. Amen.
we are back. This is Beyond Flat Earth. I am the Limitless Channel, and I'm super excited to introduce the host with the most awake souls, Jason Laufenberg. How's it going, brother?
Doing well. Feeling better. It only took me over 2 weeks to beat that thing I was going through, but finally feel myself again. And the weather broke, and I saw a little bit of sunshine, and I'm pumped. Like, winters I shut down, and here spring, summer, and fall is when I go out and do my stuff. I'm a wuss when it comes to winter.
Yeah, the weather is starting to change, which is nice for me as well, being way up north. But I'm looking forward to tonight. We might be joined, we might open it up to the chat. We might also be joined by F.E. Focker, Flat Earth Focker, right? We don't know. He did commit to it sort of in a chat, in a comment section yesterday. Wow, we have been gaining new subs. I'm really excited to say that. You've gone up a couple hundred. It's nice, man. New people in the chat too, brother. You have any comments for the new people that are just joining us, that are stumbling upon our stuff newly?
Well, these are well-earned subs. These would be people that, probably starting to realize, hey, there's what's going on with these popular flat earth channels and all. And we've been here saying this for years now, and people will see when they finally figure it out. They'll come over, they'll see, hey, these guys don't lie. They're covering things, showing what was actually said when it comes to varying maps and models and stuff like that. These guys aren't just like laying over and saying, oh, well, the AE map and model, it's a model we can present that sort of works. We're not going with that. We're holding fast, and everything has to be documented, verifiable. And if you go back and start and watch from the beginning, when Ronnie and I started doing hangouts together, that was on the channel Beyond Flat Earth. It was a collaboration between the two of us, because we hadn't met in person, and we're just getting to know each other, and we were learning a lot as things went along. But here we are now. We really have never changed our tune. All we've done is sharpened ourselves a little bit here and there. Really broke some pretty incredible things along the way. And well, the AE map and model crowd, Globebusters doesn't have any content on their channel right now. For those of you that don't follow Flat Earth super closely, Globebusters is the main Flat Earth channel with Bob Nodell and Jaronism. I think Jaron's got 147,000 subs right now.
Not verified though.
Not verified.
Oh. And
keep in mind, these numbers, they don't seem real. They don't seem real. Like, why do I have over 17,000 subs, yet I hear from, I don't know, 10 people in a week. It's people that I know are legitimately truth researchers. So the numbers don't seem real. We know that, you know, channels have bought and paid for subs and views. We did it to demonstrate it, to break it. And we broke it. Now it's not affordable. It was back when we were telling people, hey, this is what we're going to do. We're demonstrating how to do this.
$5.
Right.
All it took to open a, you know, like my analogy was back then, what we discovered was that YouTube is like a long set of piping that has water flowing through it. And there's a bunch of offshoots on both sides, but you have to pay to open those chutes that go off to the sides. They give you a one free path, but the rest of it, you basically have to unlock unless YouTube is, you're employed by them or you have your channel monetized or putting ads in. Well, verified means you're like management or upper class.
Yeah, you work for YouTube. You're on the team and you get the check mark next to you.
Yeah, you're in, right? That's ODD, Rob Skiba. I don't think Mark Sargent is, but either is Patricia. But they, like I said, their numbers don't seem real either.
None of this seems real. But so the question is, you know, are the fake flat earthers, is it breaking? Are they finally, is that whole sham just going to crumble? And you know, seeing the content off of the two Globebuster channels, it's a positive sign, but the channels are still there, so chances are the content's just on private, and it's, they're going to republish it and remonetize it, and I don't know, who knows. But this model, we've got some clips. It's just become ridiculous, some of the things that they're doing to try to still support it. And well, we can show everybody how stupid it would be to follow along and support the AE map and model crowd. So we got some of those clips tonight. What else did you want to talk about?
I got a few tabs to go through, just a couple of things that are interesting.
And it'd be interesting if Focker shows up too. I don't know if he's watching. Ronnie said that you were interested in coming on and talking. That would be great. I like you. I think you're cool that you you're a hockey player. Just seem like a pretty down and out real guy, and you do activism. You actually engage and share some of your flat smacking, and you know your stuff, except when you start talking about models. And so I'd love to come on and chat. You know, if you come on and we can chat a little bit. If you have any questions about the model, love to go through the problems with the AE map model. I know that you're into Mandela effect, and well, that's one of the things that we use as simulation realization. So hopefully we'll be nice. We're not here to chew you apart, but yeah, the footage and stuff that we want to go through, like we were talking about this last Wednesday. We're doing P900, P1000 footage, and there's a new group on Facebook, Document Everything. Derek started that, and so some of the things, like there's the video that Earth put out.
Yeah, I got that.
And
I was just making the thumbnail.
Oh, cool. I figured you were working on something.
You'll like it. I used a picture. But yeah, if you want to get into that, man, yeah, everybody make sure you check out Document Everything. If Derek is here, please leave the link. I think I posted this hangout to it. So no, we had Earth comes out with this video today. And I've paused it here because I wanted to talk to you. I want to bring up the annotate here. It's been a while since we had the annotate out. Let's do a straight line. Let's make it red. Let's make it big. Okay. So the screen says sunrise due east. Equinox equals sunrise due east and sunset due west everywhere. Jason, could you tell me, I got my pointer here. Somebody right here, where is east? Where do I have to move my tool to write down the east symbol?
Well, if you're in
Here?
Asia, there, right there.
I put the mark here. Right there. Okay, so what if I'm in Australia here? It has to be down here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, closer to the R in the sunrise.
So the problem with this is he's saying this here is nowhere does this have the sun rising due east and setting due west. Nowhere.
I know. It's so stupid. The compass has 360 degrees on it. And this is absolutely arbitrary. There's no questioning this, that 90 degrees is east and 270 degrees is west, and those make right angles to north. Right. So what these AE map and model people always do is they take a compass over a map like this, they point it at north, and then they go around in this circle and they say this way is east and this way is west. But because they're doing circles, it's absolutely impossible for the sun to be coming in at 90 degrees. It's always going to be coming in at an angle less than 90 degrees, right? Because it's doing a circle. And I mean, the equinox is just a fantastic time to destroy this. If it rises due east at 90 degrees east at a right angle to north everywhere on Earth, that means the sun and moon can't be doing circles.
And this absolutely in no way works. This is like a circus tent that he's got rainbow symbolism spinning in a circle. It in no way matches any of the observations that we make on the ground. In no way. This is so it's so absolutely ridiculous. So this personal circle of sight here that we have, where it has the sky wrapped around an observer on the flat Earth here.
Can you rewind it to the sunrise?
But the dome, this area here actually shows you, if you're on the equator, the sun would rise right above your head like this, and it would circle down. But what he shows is that the real position of the sun is way over here. It never goes beyond what latitude? Like for it to be
between 23 north and 23 and a half north, 23 and a half south.
Always circling.
Yeah, but it could never come in at a 90. And so look at the contortion that they're doing right here. Keep in mind they're keeping the sun up at 3,000 miles up, right? That goes back to the trigonometry. Now, right here.
No, they're
right
just
there.
No, they're just messing around with it.
If you go back, he stops it, and I think he talks about the sunrise, because it comes up right there. Oh.
Yeah, he's got it jumping around.
Right. Not yet.
He's got it going backwards right now.
Right there. Sun we see. that sun is rising down at the horizon. We're going to go through some more footage. Nawija, P900 photographer, he was around with us at the beginning. YouTube stopped showing me his new content, and I thought he had just stopped putting out content, but he didn't stop. I just wasn't being notified. And And so when the sun rises or sun sets, we can clearly see it underneath solid cloud layers and tons and tons and tons of footage. There's bank of clouds, right? We've got plenty of footage of the sun going through that bank of clouds. We're seeing clouds in front and behind, and it going below that bank of clouds and setting down right at the ground. Right, this whole reflection, like they're saying because of the dome, it can be reflections. And anybody talking about the sun being a reflection is just cuckoo in the head.
Look at how many suns he has. He's got 4 different suns.
If I hear somebody say the sun is a reflection off the dome, I am just going to lose it on these fools. There's not multiple suns, right? There's not 2, 3, 4, 10 suns, and it's definitely not a reflection. All we have to do is watch the footage. We've got P900 footage for years, and now we've got the P1000.
Look at how horrible this is.
Banks of clouds. Watching the sun go through it. We can see this in our circle of sight. Anybody talking reflections, man, these are shills that have just lost their rocker.
It's really bad. It's really, really bad. The thing that I just don't understand, that the Earth doesn't understand, is that the sun, it rises due east and sets due west. Like, that's impossible if the sun were circling. How does he not? How many times do we have to explain that? We don't see the stars circling above us like this. No one has ever seen this. This is imaginary. It's worse than the globe, in my opinion, because sure, due to perspective, the way that objects, the last thing we see is their highest vantage point due to our altitude. That's how they fake the curvature. Now, there's no evidence that anything like this takes place in the sky. The stars in the sky are at an angle to us. They're not above plane. They're at a 90. They're not like that. They're exactly the other way, right? It's crazy that we still have to go through this. But you see how there's a wall? We're looking at a wall in front of us. If the AE map were real and the stars were circling, it would be like this. It would look like a plane above our head spinning like a record. No one has ever observed this, ever. And there's only one pole. There's 2 celestial poles in the sky. There's a southern one and a northern one, right? And the other problem is, like I said before, if the sun were traveling and creating this path here, I'm sorry, guys, but if the sun was circling, the shadow would circle. The shadow is the anti-direction of the sun. So wherever the shadow points, you can follow that back and you will be pointing directly at the sun. But this shadow, it follows along a directly, perfectly straight curve, because whoever made this, on this day, he made a mark here on the ground. Probably at the other end of the day, he put a mark here and he snapped a line, and they built the form, right? They ran string lines along where this shadow was passing. That's that if the sun was circling, this shadow would circle. It wouldn't be able to go straight across the screen. Like, this alone destroys any circling sun.
The structure is oriented to true north, right? So it's set east, west, north, south, and on an equinox, it's going to rise 90 degrees east, set 270 degrees west, and this is going to be by the equator, so it's going directly overhead. Well, actually, no, because This isn't at the
No,
equator.
I think it's 10 or 18 degrees north. It's close though.
That's the reason why it doesn't travel right down the middle of it.
That's right. And at midday, we would have no shadow.
Right.
Right. This is aligned to the north, like you said. This right here, it looks like a celestial measuring tool right here. This is what this thing was built for. And it destroys the AE map. It doesn't destroy the flat Earth. It just destroys the fake map and model. And again, like we've shown, even people like Robotham, he told people only let the observer take his stand half an hour before sunrise in the month of June or any of the summer months will be better than winter, as the results will be more striking, because the winter months destroys the flat Earth.
It goes the wrong way.
The sun is rising from the bottom of the disk, swooping overhead, and then setting off into the off side of the disk. Yet someone over here is having the sun go around them. And we've been go ahead.
And if somebody says it's a reflection, I'm just going to reach across the screen and smack them, because we can watch sunrises and sunsets, and we can see the sun below the clouds. We can see it interact with the clouds. We can triangulate to where it is. We see shadows cast off of clouds, and we can triangulate to where the sun is and know that it's lower than a bank of clouds above it, right? And it's not a reflection.
And even here, Robotham, who never went to Australia or the southern half of the map, said, but in the far south, the sun, even when moving in his outer path, can only throw its light to certain distance, beyond which there must be perpetual darkness. No evidence exists of there being long periods of light and darkness regularly alternating as in the north. That is an absolute lie. People in the alternating latitudes have the exact same as their northernly counterparts.
Just 6 months later,
it's flipped, and we can verify that because people online live down there or over there, and they have webcams. We've checked it all. It totally proves that Robotham was a liar, a fraud, and he was totally debunked. He couldn't even explain why ships were disappearing from the bottom up. That's how ridiculous Robotham was. But this is the last thing we'll bring up about the AE. It's just that even this one simple fact that on the equator, the shadow, it just starts on a long shadow from the east. At midday, there's no shadow, and then it lengthens to the west. I mean, from the west to the east on the sun rise and set. And if the sun was circling, guys, the shadow would go around the sundial like this. It could never go straight across if the sun was circling. It would never do it.
Yeah, well, for people that are newer to our channels, it was 2.5 years ago that I broke from the AE map and model, because it was the fall equinox, and just doing research, I was learning about flat Earth and making sure, hey, is it really flat? And I saw or learned that on the equinox, the sun rises 90 degrees east and sets 270 west everywhere. And I'm a carpenter builder. And the moment I heard that, I mean, everywhere I looked at it, I looked at how it's doing circles. The first thing I realized is the sun and moon can't be doing circles.
Me too.
It was like, I'm like, and then that's when I reached out and talked to David deep inside the rabbit hole. The reason why we're going through this right now is he's putting out this information, and he conferenced in Jaron, and I told Jaron the problems with it. He's like, oh, great, you ruined my week. And then
do you see the thumbnail? We are the real globe master.
Oh man. It's weird seeing myself in a thumbnail like that.
It's good. We get the map on air. What was I checking for? Oh, there was something I was going to do. Someone was talking about leadership. No, Jason and I, we just do our work. We do what we're here to do, and we don't need any earthly anything. There was something that I was going to do. I can't remember now, but we did have
leadership. Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're taking a lead, and the research that we've done has broken a whole bunch of big things.
I forgot. I was searching up my debate with good old Jerry, just to show people just how long I've been actually fighting for the truth. September 11th, 2016. Would you look at that, right? And in here, it's pretty much me going through the slides that I was just showing.
Path of the sun is the yellow line, not the orange line.
The path of the sun is the orange line.
Why? Because you just made that up, is what I'm saying.
Well, I just lost the sun calc. No, I just showed it to you on sun calc.
Hold on a second. You're talking about two different maps, dude.
No, okay, I'm talking about the measurable sextant map with a visual measuring tool.
You just said southeast and southwest.
That's right. There's the sun.
Go back to the azimuthal.
Look, Jared, it's going left. The sun is going left.
Going left.
The path of the sun is traveling south.
Southeast to southwest.
The arc would be, okay, on the AE map, I'll bring one up. Or no, I had one playing.
Had one.
My presentation here.
I was so tired too. This was at like 1:32 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
He just out of nowhere challenged me, and I was like, okay, let's do this. I've been waiting for this for so long.
Hold on a second. Just hear me out. Go back to that map you just had.
This one here is going to illustrate it perfectly.
Yeah, this one's good.
See how the sun's coming around, Jared?
You can't see the sun over there.
It would have to go this way. It's not. This isn't right. This would be always rising.
Where was his?
Would never be south of the.
He had this planned. He put the map into a Photoshop, and I think it's called conicalized. He just spun it in a circle. He was like, "See, now the angles still work." Remember?
Wow.
Oh, it was bad. It was really bad, guys. And then I think he rage quit at the end. He told me if I shouldn't be talking about things that I've never experienced.
Oh, Flat Earth Focker is here.
Okay, I'll
This is where
let's put the link in the chat. 1 second. Glad he made it.
Yeah.
So Flat Earth Focker, just click on this, and then it'll give you options to join the Hangout. You just have to join by browser. You can join right now, brother. Just click on this, and it's gonna ask you to sign in. Down below in the little text, there'll be a link. It'll say join by browser, and then you'll be here. Are you the host, brother?
Yeah, I pulled up the.
You got the participant.
Yep.
Okay. But yeah, that was 2016, people, friends. So Jason and I have been doing this for a real long time. This was funny. I was going to bring it up. Zuckerberg has a secret panic chute leading to a car park underneath Facebook conference room. What's going on? Why are they letting us know that, there's so much going on right now with all this stuff. They're like saying that Russia's going to nuke the United States, and there's all this hype going on right now, right? Did you look at this? This town in Vermont just elected a goat named Lincoln as its honorary mayor. How about that, people? Welcome to Vermont. This goat is the mayor. Any comments?
He was saying email me. I was just giving him direction.
It's easier. He just clicks that link, but I can email him too.
Yeah, he if he doesn't use Zoom, I have to actually promote a person to a panelist to be able to come on and talk. So it doesn't matter if anybody else clicks the link. I'm not going to promote them unless if we ask them to come. But
let me see here. FE Vancouver at outlook.com. Then I'll put the link. Yeah, nobody can porn bomb us. We've got that all completely locked down. We were the first victims of it. So
yeah, sniping.
Yeah, I was on Patricia Steer's hangout. Was the first time that sniping ever happened. And I think it was Mark who then taught Tim, in my opinion. I sent him the Zoom link. Again, he'll have to click on that. And then you're not going to be able to join in with your Zoom account. So it'll say join by browser. And then it might ask you to type in your name. And then you'll just be joining like you're joining a Google Hangout. It's pretty easy, actually. Yeah, you should be showing up soon in the attendees. Be interesting to have a new guest on.
Yeah, should I was going to show...
Oh, he'll join in a couple minutes, so go ahead, brother.
I was going to show some of the Naui Ja. All right, so this thing that David put out, we've seen it before. This is damage control for the equinox, and I'll put out another video before the equinox for everybody to be paying attention to 90 degrees, right? A true right angle. And we're going to have that everywhere, both in the north of the equator and south of the equator.
He's here.
Okay. Hey, how's it going?
Looks like he stepped away.
Okay. Here, let's see if I can turn off his camera. I can't.
Yeah.
So this right here, the huge debunk to the reflection is seeing the sun below clouds. And I mentioned Naui Ja, and I'm pretty sure this is P900 footage. And, you know, just examples like this where you can see the clouds above, all right? And we'll just, you know, go through some of this footage here. It's not the highest res. And you know, you're gonna see that you've got these streaks of clouds back here that are gonna be behind. You're gonna see clouds that are in front. The sun is obviously going down beneath here.
Yeah, it's not 3,000 miles up.
Yeah, it's not a reflection either.
Yeah, it'd be impossible for it to be projecting in between those cloud layers. Possible.
Yeah, you would see the you would create a hot spot on the top of the clouds, and there would be a glow on the top of the clouds, and all of us would know that, hey, the sun's a reflection.
Yeah.
It hits down on the top of these clouds and it makes a hot spot. The sun's obviously a reflection. It's obviously not.
No, it's right there in between all that.
Yeah,
at a fixed distance.
And you can see the different depths of clouds here. And the places where it cuts through. You can see sometimes when it's because of the density of a layer of clouds. You can see when a cloud passes over the face of it, right? You see where it's on the face right there? Some of these thinner ones, sometimes it is like it is a brightness contrast issue. Just got to use your senses and watch some of these other dark layers, the way it interacts with them. It just takes time studying and analyzing this footage.
It's funny. Someone was asking to bring Tim Osmond on. You know, we've had him on a few times before, and yeah, he sniped us too. He shut down one of our hangouts. Then we shut it down after he booted us off of through a glitch with Google Hangouts on Gmail. And Jacob Vigil is IPS's other alias. Someone else commented about Glowbusters. Yeah, Bob just put his videos on private. He's saying that it's because of the old symbol, but I don't know. I don't trust anything that Glowbusters say. Jason and I said years ago, literally, that Bob and Jaron were purposely out, and Mark and Pat and David Weiss were purposely out to ridicule, mock, and make sure that as many people walk away from the flat earth truth as possible. They've done way more damage than even Eric Dubay. All Eric ever did was read Robotham, which we've debunked already tonight. But look at this image. This is incredible.
Yeah, it's just fascinating to see how our reality works. Just actually study it and, you know, try to figure out what's going to be in front, what's going to be behind. Obviously now this sun's going to come out beneath this layer of clouds, and it's going to underlight that bank of clouds as it sets. And keep in mind the distance of these clouds. This man can't see clouds that are, you know, 20 miles away. This is in his circle of sight. This hill right here, I don't know exactly, but it's probably less than 10 miles away from him. And these are the clouds above it.
Mm-hmm. It's obvious to me, man. I've seen it with my own eye. I was, again, I believe on my YouTube channel, I think I might have shared one of those videos in 2016 as well. Clouds behind the moon and the sun, on the Limitless channel. And we're getting other questions as well, which is interesting. We like all types of questions. So someone was asking, what do we think of the whole scandal going on with Wesley Stace? My thoughts on that, honestly, I don't trust anything that comes out of the Mark and Patricia camp, as well as, you know, IPS has told some truth, but he's also, you know, lied a lot as well. So I don't trust, I basically take auto hoax, auto set up the flat earth to fail with these people. Whether he had those bookmarks or whether those bookmarks were set up to try to demonize flat earth. So that now that they've done the mockumentary, they've gone full blown on trying to make everybody in the flat earth look like, you know, retards. Now they're straight up going to flat earthers are pedophiles. Flat earthers are going to be terrorists. They're going to start doing all kinds of stuff. And we got to be watching all the time and discerning everything that we see. And like I said, you know, I would follow those who have been documenting truth for years and then have a credible fact check record with the truth community. People like Bob and Mark wouldn't even be able to exist in this realm if people actually, you know, remembered all of the different scams and fast ones that they pulled. I think we've been joined by F.E. Focker. There was one more thing I wanted to share, brother, just before you go back to the clouds behind the sun. I had posted something on one of Earth's other videos here. He says here, watch the real sun behind the sun we see fade into the sky at 1:30, and he's basically pointing you off into Netherland. My comment was, watch the CGI sun behind the sun we use to make the sun appear to fade out of the sky at 2:07. If we go to that spot, and what we're going to do here, what's the resolution on this? It's low, eh? Doesn't he have a drone? Why is it only 720? But when we click through here, I'm just calling this out. You guys can take whatever you want from it, but I've seen sunrises my whole life, and you'll never ever find one like this. You'll see right here now he is got the overlay sun, and he's disappearing it to an underlay sun. Then he's going to do some sort of nice graphic here, this little twirly, spirally thing. I'm calling that out as a CGI. If anybody else has any footage of this black hole disappearing into nothingness sun, I'd like to see it. But Flat Earth Focker, how's it going, brother? Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us.
You might be muted.
No, he's not muted. Maybe he doesn't. Does he have a camera, a microphone? There's an arrow beside the mic at the bottom left, up arrow. You click on that and then choose your internal mic. Or just stick in headphones with the mic, either way. Yeah, we've been watching Flat Earth Focker's channel since before Rally, the first Flat Earth conference. Well, he gets his sound worked out. Jason and I enjoyed his vlogging, remember? And this was before he was picked up by the Flat Earth community, really.
Yeah, totally. I've been subscribed to him for a long time.
Watching Flat Earth Focker's channel since before.
Just got to mute the volume.
Yeah, if you can just mute the hangout.
Well, he gets his sound.
You're coming through nice and clear now, brother.
Cool. Let me just make a quick video here advertising to my subs to come join me here.
Oh, cool.
Thanks a lot, man.
You can mute. How do I? I'm just going to mute it, and then I'll be back in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think Focker's a Satanist. Born to be Alive asks. No, we'll let him answer for himself. So, and I repeat again, like I said to Bob, we don't... Satanist just means adversary, those who are scattering abroad, not collecting for the creator. That's all. We don't think that everybody's eating babies and drinking blood.
Yeah, but I do hold a pretty strict line on like intentional lying and deceiving. I do call those people Satanists because the scriptures say that their father is the devil. And so I do call liars and deceivers Satanists. That's what the Bible says. It's the reason why I say it. I wouldn't just make that up on my own.
Yeah, but it's not like we don't mean everybody that's a Satanist. It just means adversary. And
yeah, they come in varying degrees for sure. There is not one size fits all Satanist.
But like I said, I followed his channel. He's a flat earth activist. You know, very vocal. I've even seen him like debating cops, flat smacking them while getting tickets. It's pretty well done, actually. Those couple of those vlogs.
So I just want to show you my response to that Earth drone footage. All right, here's just another clip from Nawi Ja. All you got to do is have a camera that's got a good zoom to it and hit record and then publish the video. And it's really obvious that what Earth was showing and what we see in reality are extremely different.
Yeah, you have a sunset from your drone as well, but you might not have that footage.
Yeah.
Sleds are ripping by.
I had that hard drive crash and I think that's all gone.
It happens. It happens. But hey, man, what can we do? But continue.
Let's see here.
Yeah, you have it uploaded to the channel, man.
What's that?
I think the drone footage we definitely documented.
Yeah, I think we could find that.
Hmm.
All right, I think this is the footage. See these chemtrail things, which we do not think are
Heavy metal?
heavy metal, because heavy metal falls. It doesn't float, right?
Mhm.
Everybody, you can take metal, shave it down to the finest bits of metal, and it's still heavier than air. It doesn't all of a sudden become lighter than air. And so these aren't full of heavy metals. But what we do see is when these trails are in the sky, we'll see shadows being cast from the sun. And we can see, as this moves around, we'll get distinct shadow lines here, which will tell you, all right, the sun is lower than this and it's casting a shadow up. We can triangulate its position. Q and Fee had some of the best like chemtrail shadows, and you could clearly see that the shadow was being cast up. So
Oh my God.
what's up?
I can't type.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Somebody's asking if I was doing a line of coke, I think, in the fucking chat. Crazy,
I didn't see that.
crazy people.
Yeah,
Oh.
somebody said something.
He's gone. Sorry, I didn't see that. Good call.
It's all good. I think it's kind of funny. I joined in and I had to finish some things off. I'm going to get distracted in about 5 minutes for about 30 seconds again. So
That's all right. So I don't know if you heard any of it, but we were just saying that we've followed you for a long time, and you know, I like you as a guy. It's great to be able to talk to you in person like this.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. No, I had it muted, so I didn't hear that. That's awesome. Yeah, I've seen you guys in the chat here and there and in the comments, so I appreciate that. You know, I try to check you guys out once in a while. I mean, I don't always get everybody's notifications, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody blocked me on your channel, but that's okay, man. It's okay. I'm blocked in a lot of places.
Are you okay right now, or are you still blocked?
I'm still blocked, but that's cool, man. You know what? Sometimes the person that blocked you has to unblock you, but I got like 10 different accounts, so it's cool. I know it wasn't you. It happened. I can't remember. You were doing a bunch of live streams, and I think there was a bunch of people just trolling you, and ban. It happens, man. Like Jason was saying, it'd be a lot cooler if we could all play hockey. That'd be fun.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be a highlight moment for me, to get out on the ice with some flat earthers and see if there's any curve in the sheet of ice, or if there's any curve in our stick.
We'd wear flat earth jerseys and everything.
Yes. Yeah, it'd be great, man.
People would say, "You live on this puck? You think you live on this puck?" Oh my God.
Yeah, we get trolled, but it would be fun. The first flat earth hockey team. I was thinking that. But yeah, so are you guys still doing that rally? Was it March 5th? No, May 5th?
May 5th, yeah, for
I remembered.
511.
511, right? That's something you got to plug as well. Jason was just showing clouds behind the sun. What do you think of that topic?
I mean, like, it shows obviously that the sun is really close, and we can't, like, we don't know what it is. But I mean, with anybody with eyes to see, you can see that the sun is right there. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how to explain it. I want to find out what the sun is and how it works. And it's great that guys like you guys speculate and you guys are doing this research and you're trying to figure it out, because I don't have time to do that, but I want answers. And, you know, my philosophy is always like, take down these psychopaths that steal our money so then we can figure out, you know, what the world is and how the world works.
Yeah, I'm about exploring more for sure. I'd like to take the path from South Africa along the prime meridian south, and I'd like to see if we come back on the top where Russia is. That's never been done before in the history of mankind.
Sorry, which path?
If you have the map, Jason, you can show them. So straight south along the it wouldn't be straight south because the south would take you towards Antarctica, but it's sort of on a westerly path. Southeasterly, you'd follow what's called the prime meridian. That's a line that goes straight down through England, and basically that's where they start and stop the day clock. Jason's got it up here.
Yeah, I remember prime meridian from elementary school. I haven't heard that in years.
The green line is the path.
It goes through Greenwich, England, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to go all the way down, sail or fly all the way down?
Yeah, because if you see the way, because this is a stereographic map, one of the things that we've shown is that when you take this and wrap it onto a sphere in a 3D modeling program, it ends up looking like the globe. And so this is a flat map that wraps to a globe. And if you look at the lines that are curving towards the Antarcticas, which are split in two, and the North Pole at the top there, you see how they're all curving, except the prime meridian, that one goes straight and comes through the top straight. And so Mark Sargent, when in the beginning, when it was like Flat Earth Clues, one of his big taglines was there's no shortcuts on flat Earth. And that's true on the AE map and model, but we're not okay with that model. But on here there would be a shortcut. So I think if we could take that trip, that would be the one that would prove that this is our reality.
Yeah, well, and the other thing that it would completely destroy is that there's an ice wall, right? Because if the ice wall is because we know if you head on your compass heading due south, you will run into Antarctica from anywhere on the map. Yes, but if you follow the prime meridian, you should come out at the top section of the map and come back down towards Russia. And I do believe that I read books that there were sail expeditions that took off from San Francisco, went around north of Canada, through that section, and then they went to Antarctica. And there's polar bears that have been sighted on both Antarctica and that northern area. So I'm just suggesting that that's the reality that we're on, and it's flat. It's square. It's got four corners. This is the way that we share with people, and I can project this to a sphere, so we can say that Flat Earth Focker, this is how they tricked us. What they did was they figured out how could they make us believe that we were on a ball when we live on a flat Earth. So they had to come up with a map that would do that for them. And I got it up here while everybody's watching.
That's very interesting.
You see how this works?
Because you're a Mandela guy too, right?
Yes.
And so we've been saying that we're in like a simulation, and the Earth's flat, right? But we can see things like clouds behind the sun and stuff like that. We can see just how close the sun is.
Hold on. I'll be back in 20 seconds.
Okay.
But yeah, as people see what I'm showing here. So we just overlay the mesh system on top of the map that we've been showing. And boom, this is what you come up with. So you can have a flat Earth or a ball, and the map works. It snaps to its 23 degree tilt roughly, right? All on its own. This does away with having a magnetic north and a north declination. But it's really simple. No other map will do this. And
have you seen this before, Focker?
I think I caught you guys once talking about it, and I wasn't ready to receive it. So I was like, oh man, what are these guys talking about? Some nonsense.
Right.
But now that you're explaining it, it make like, you know, now that I'm actually paying attention, it makes a lot of sense.
Do you see how, like the stereographic map, look at the way the yellow and the red line, you know, the tropics and the equator, you see how it's got the curve on the flat map, but as soon as you snap it on the globe, it wraps around like a croquet ball.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, no, you know, when you were showing the sun leaves and it comes over here, I was like, okay, this is bullshit. But that was before I was Mandela affected.
Right.
Yeah, I went through that back in 2014. I was one of the first ones on that one because the Berenstain Bears, when I heard that, I was like, there's no way it was Berenstain. I would have made fun of that. I read the books, but this here is the star map, and I've colored it in. You know what's crazy about this one, Effie Focker, is the bottom red line. You see how blown out it is? Can you believe that when I project it to a sphere, it makes like a croquet ball? It's a little bit distorted there. I'm not perfect, but it's real close.
Yeah.
And the top. So this is how they lie to us. They basically take the flat version and they created a stereographic projection, and then they put it onto a sphere. So the actual alignments still work on the flat Earth. They just, this is what we've discovered in our research, and we want to be debunked so we can move on to better things, but nobody has been able to. We debated Red's rhetoric and just destroyed him. When I asked him, okay, so if you're a globe Earth believer, show us which map is the best one that you guys are going to promote, right? They didn't have a map. They said USGS, which is an absolute joke. The USGS is so distorted. As you move away from the equator, it like skews again to infinity. What was it, 1984? Of course, right? Just like the movie 1984.
Yeah. Well, have you guys done all the navigation and all that on that map, and it kind of works out?
Yeah, well, what it does is you've probably seen the problem on the AE map and model, like the Sydney, Australia to Santiago flight. You've seen how big that flight is on the AE, right?
Yeah.
But if you look on this map and you do Sydney to Santiago, when you draw a straight line between those 2 points going across the sides of the map, right? If you go not going over Africa, but going across the outside edges there, with those straight lines, when you wrap it onto the sphere, it becomes a great circle route. Just like the ones that a pilot like Wolfie 6020 would show you.
Sorry, if I'm going from Sydney to Santiago.
Yeah, so it
still doesn't make sense that they stop in North America.
Not the direct flight between the two.
Sure, I might have a video, but I'll put
there's a nonstop.
There's a nonstop, but I don't think anybody's actually verified that flies, or has that been verified?
John LeBon, right? Or was it Max Egan, that other shill?
Max Egan.
Yeah, but he fell asleep. Like, you know what I mean? So is that proof he was on that flight? I don't know.
Well, no, it was just more proof that everything that Jaron and Bob touches, because Jaron was the one who was live streaming that, remember? It just falls to pieces, basically. So everyone gets discouraged. Oh, no flat earthers can do anything right. Or what did Jaron say in the documentary? Interesting.
Well, that documentary that got edited really poorly.
No, how could they edit the words that they were speaking, though, brother?
Yeah, but I mean, like, he did say, let's just say he said that, like, you know, but at a different point or halfway through the experiment. Isn't that what his answer to that is? They're still kind of testing it out.
That's his answer to it. Yeah, I mean, it's not I don't believe it.
I like to give people the benefit of the doubt, but you know, that's just me.
Well, we've been battling these guys forever over the AE map and model. All right.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. I remember you guys commented very early, like, you know, a while ago when I was showing that during my flats max, and you guys were like, that map is wrong. Stop using it.
Right.
Well, they're debunking flat Earth with that map specifically, is what we were trying to say.
Yeah.
I mean, there's holes in that map. I mean, I woke up with that map. It just, you know, I don't know. You guys heard what, you know, I think 2 weeks ago on Dell's show where they're giving me shit or giving us shit for using that map. You know, when I learned about flat Earth, the AE map makes sense in the beginning. Of course, if you put it under scrutiny, you see the holes. But, you know, for the first time to visualize something that's not a globe, it helped me out a lot. And I want to give people the benefit of the doubt. Like, I mean, I want to give people the opportunity to get rid of the globe, see something differently, and hopefully they have the brains to understand after that this is not an accurate map or a correct map.
Yeah, well, it's the circling part that's the big problem. It's not the map part that's the problem. So that's what we were talking about is the circling, because, you know, it has the sun and the moon doing circles, right?
Yes.
But we're coming up on the equinox, and the sun's going to rise 90 degrees east and set 270 degrees west everywhere on Earth, both north of the equator and south of the equator.
Yeah, I think that's what happens here in Vancouver.
Mm-hmm.
No, 2, 3.
90 to 70, due east, due west.
I think in Vancouver it kind of is like comes up. Yeah, I'll have to. I don't remember where it rises. I do know it kind of sets. It does. No, I don't think it does. 90, or maybe it does. You're right. Okay.
Yeah, we can. You know, you can go to something like timeanddate.com and it shows you. And it doesn't matter where you're at. You can be the farthest north, like super north Canada, all the way down to the most southern Argentina, and it's gonna be 90 to 70 everywhere.
That's what I hear. I realized there was a problem because I was looking at some sunsets and sunrises for Arizona last week and on my stream, because it doesn't make sense where the sun is traveling, because Vancouver is getting earlier sunrises and later sunsets than Phoenix, Los Angeles, and San Francisco. I plugged those 3 cities in, and that makes no sense on the flat Earth or on a globe map. So that's where I came to the realization was, okay, there's something wrong with that map, because on a globe and the flat Earth, the sunset, Vancouver wouldn't get an earlier sunrise and a later sunset. Then, because the equator is below California and Arizona, you know what I mean? They should definitely be getting an earlier sunrise and a later sunset than we do. Is that where
Yeah, I'm just looking at the map right now, looking at Vancouver to see.
And I was checking March. I don't know what, I can't remember the dates I was checking. Maybe it was in June. I mean, I could pull all of that up again and see what it says.
Yeah, well, the equinox was what ruined the AE map model for me. I guess you weren't around earlier, but I had started out by saying it was 2.5 years ago. It was the fall equinox. And I found out, I just learned that it rises 90 east, that's 270 west everywhere. And I don't know, just being a builder, construction guy, I was able to easily go, well, 90 and 270 are right angles to north. If that means that the sun and moon can't be doing circles, it's impossible.
Yeah, that would be impossible.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what just ruined that whole model for me. And then we figured out so many other reasons why it doesn't work. And that's really what we've set our main objective is to make sure everybody knows just how impossible that model is.
So yeah, let's check out Vancouver and California, Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
See, what we've been talking about is how these lines of longitude, right, the ones that tell us when the sun rises and when the sun sets, that because of the way they curve like this, it does away with having to have a magnetic declination map, right? You know how they always tell us, magnetic north, you have to adjust a certain amount. Well, that's because they're not truly north-south lines of longitude like we've always thought. They hook.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the macro view, right? So the south of the map is the octans. Sigma Octantis is this section. And the north of the map is Polaris here. And so however far north you are of the red line, you know, this will start to rise in the sky, Polaris. And however far south you are, Sigma Octantis will rise. And the equator here, it matches the earthly equators, so to speak, right? And the stars in the east rise everywhere on the flat map on the east, and they go clockwise in the south, and they set in the west. In the north, they go counterclockwise. This is how we show everyone, and it hasn't been debunked yet. And so this is the macro version, right?
Yeah, because in our personal little circle of sight, you know, the horizon's out there generally 3 to 10 miles based on however, you know, whatever your elevation is. And
this is it. We see this circle around us that Jason's got here on the screen, and the sun rises and sets. And these are the angles that Jason's talking about, due east, due west, in this circle, right? And Earth's trying to explain it away with apparent suns and stuff that we'll never be able to measure. So everybody, so this person has this circle of sight, this person has this circle of sight, and you align it with Polaris in the north of the red line, and you align it with octans, Sigma Octantis in the south. That's it, right?
Well, and we do say that we're in a simulation, and that we always use the Mandela effect as one of our evidences, you know, along with a whole bunch of other things. But yeah, we really do believe that we're in a simulation. I had done the whole New Age looking for enlightenment path before Flat Earth, and you know, in the New Agey spiritual terms, I realized in 2013, and after contemplating, you know, what it was that I realized, I solidly came to the conclusion that I was in a simulation, and could actually, if somebody wanted to go through the same type of path that I did, I would be able to teach it to them, no problem. But I mean, that's a long, hard path. That's like 4 years of giving up any friends and just doing nothing but spiritual work on yourself.
These are some of the proofs here. Photographic evidence that the sun and the moon are much closer than 3, 2, or even 1,000 miles. These are the reasons why we're in a simulation, why what our research has shown. The angles of the sun, moon rise, and sun and moon set are impossible on the popular flat earth model, which is obvious. The Mandela effect is huge when we're talking about, do we live in an atomism ruled physical Big Bang cosmology reality? And when we drill down onto a small level, we can't find anything like atoms. It's not observable. And then now that we have the Mandela effect, so Philip K. Dick was saying in the 70s, hey, we live in a simulation, and the only way we're ever going to figure that out is when things start to change. So I know you've been talking about the Mandela effect. Why don't you give us your thoughts?
Yeah, what are your big Mandelas?
Number one, I guess, is dilemma. The spelling of dilemma is huge. What else is there? Just Sri Lanka, where Sri Lanka has just completely shifted to the east of India, the east of the tip. And I guess the Panama Canal and South America moving over, like these are some big ones. I mean, I've got a bunch more, but I mean, off the top of my head, Christopher Reeves, Sally Fields, their name changing. Oh my God. You put me on the spot here. I mean, it'll come to me. I mean, I can warm up. I mean, there's just
I got some. How about Megadeth? The name has always been spelled like Megadeth.
Uh-huh.
That one's huge. That one kind of gets people sometimes.
I haven't heard of that one.
Oh yeah, it used to be Megadeth, EATH. I think it's now double E's.
I just see one E here. Megadeth, DETH.
No
Yeah.
A in it, huh?
That's Megadeth, or it's not. Something's wrong there. That's one. But Jason's name's in the Bible now. And go ahead, Jay. Tell him that one was like, whoa.
Well, there was all the like pop culture Mandela effects that I was just like, wow, I remembered this and Luke Skywalker, that kind of stuff. But then when the Bible Mandela effects came along, there were some scriptures that I knew really, really well that had changed. The wineskins, were now bottles, and that makes absolutely no sense. And the thing that really got me was that this was changed in like printed ink and paper Bibles that were sitting in people's homes, like, and it's different now. So the Mandela effect, how it could actually change what we think of as material reality, the ink and the paper. That's what really started to get me going with Mandela. And it was on things that I had in my spirit. I was 100% convicted that it was wineskins, not bottles. I knew that. And
The Lion and the Lamb was another one that you were sure you had printed up, you said, right?
Yeah. And I got my parents on those ones. And my name's, Jason. My brother's name is Adam. And we grew up in a Jehovah's Witness house where it's, super biblical. And so I remember asking my parents why I didn't end up with a biblical name and my brother did. And now one of the Mandela effects that I heard about is that the name Jason is in the Bible. And I knew all through my life that there was no Jason in the Bible. My parents, nobody ever thought that the name Jason was in the Bible, but now it's in the Bible. So that one super convicted me as well. And I think it's a huge part of this whole simulation thing. I mean, have you ever really given any thought to how the Mandela effect could be possible?
Well, like I said, I mean, I've been Mandela affected since about early November, so it's not that long. I'm just trying to stay positive with all these changes. And I'd heard about it for two years, I guess, shortly after I got into Flat Earth. I just thought they were logo changes and it was gaslighting. I didn't understand what it was until I started hearing people say things like you said, things in their possession. Movies, Bibles were changing, had changed. What's causing it? I mean, I just got to say God is causing it. I mean, that's the best, most positive, explanation for me to continue my life with. You know what I mean? That God's testing us to see who's awake, who trusts themselves, who trusts their memory, and who's noticing these changes. So I'm gonna say God.
Yeah, well, I say a lot of these changes, the way they look like find and replace. You've surely with your computer gone through documents where you do a find replace, where you find all these instances where this shows up and then it replaces with this.
Yeah.
So we have like a perfect modern day example of how these changes would take place, and then if we're maybe in a simulation, I don't know. That's where I take it.
Well, another one I discovered 2 days ago was days in a year. I always remember as a kid, days in a year, you kind of remember 364 days, 365 in a leap year. I had never seen 366. And then a few years ago when I was looking it up, how many days in a year, I don't know why I kind of looked that up, and leap year, I heard about it or something happened. 366 looked so foreign to me as days, the number of days in a year. And I didn't realize, so I've had a lot of these things where I just said, I misremember. My memory, I was wrong about 364. Why am I remembering 364 and not 365 and 366? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think that's a Mandela effect. Apparently in the community, people are kind of iffy about it, whether it's a Mandela effect or not. But I mean, how do I misremember something like that? Is something that I pay attention to? Like, it's one of those things, like the spelling of dilemma. These are things that you pay attention. And I know how that number was. I use that in my life and these things in my life, right?
Yeah. Why didn't they teach us that, because I had issues with spelling growing up. I didn't really like doing longhand and spelling and stuff. But the word February is actually February. Yes. And like I always remembered it February. They didn't teach me February.
I do, that one's kind of iffy. Like, I don't know when that showed up. I always thought it was weird that there was a silent R in February. You know what I mean?
Why put it there?
Yeah, why put it there? Yeah, and Wednesday. Why put a D in Wednesday? Nest day. Like, there's these weird things in the English language that make no sense.
Totally true. There's so many. Jason also does this, basically teaching this non-duality.
It's a complicated topic, but it's one that what I told you about that reaching enlightenment, realizing that we're in a simulation. All the bright lights and the new agey stuff. It's a bunch of hoopla to sell books and stuff. If you really get serious about seeking enlightenment, what you'll figure out is that duality is a hoax. And so duality is something that's preached a lot by the Freemasons. They've got the two pillars, and it's the foundation in a lot of the secret societies, the Rosicrucians, the Knights Templars. It's duality. And so
sorry. So are you saying that the world is not full of duality, or for us, we're not supposed to buy into duality? Because I mean, we do see duality everywhere in the world.
Well, that's one of the things that I show people is that it's actually not duality. There's one thing, and then there's a bunch of gradients of it. But so duality is actually based on the opposites, right? Go ahead, Ronnie.
No, you took the words from me.
Okay. Yeah, the opposites are, so everybody says black and white, right? Or up and down. Like these are some sort of opposites, but
good and evil.
Yeah, but they're actually the whole notion of opposites is a farce. There's reciprocals, there's 180 degrees, there's a couple of things that people have begun to believe are actual opposites. But if I ask you what the opposite of an orange is, what's the opposite of an orange?
I don't know.
Be a non-orange?
Or what's the opposite of a desk?
But what we really have is we have things called we have a gradient scale. So you can be like full of light or you can be void of light. But we'll say that black and white are dualistic opposites, and they're not really. It's just one is lacking something from the other.
Everything's an absolute that comes in gradients. So heat, like temperature outside, there's no such thing as anti-heat. It's either just really hot or there's less and less heat, but there's no such thing as anti-heat.
Yeah, it's the absence of heat.
Right. And that's the way all of the duality things are. And so when you come to the realization that their duality is just part of a satanic agenda, when you realize, so the non-duality, you realize that everything is what it is. It's being what it's being. And what it does is it gets rid of causality, that things are causing other things to happen. See, these are all sub-root programs that this world is employed on us to screw up our thinking. So I keep on teaching people that we're in a simulation, that what you do is your consciousness, you make choices, and then a program runs. You're always being presented with options. I could talk to this person, I could take this job, I could put this shirt on today, or I could, pull this out of the refrigerator and eat and drink it. You're always being presented with options, you're making choices, and then a program runs. And everything's being exactly what it was programmed to be.
That's interesting.
And then
Right?
proof. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, it's once you get into that frame of mind, especially with some confirmation that you're in a simulation, you can become a super powerful renderer.
So that's what I was going to say. The proof that we go out and test this with is we hold things in our minds and we watch them manifest in reality. So if we want to build something, we build it in a 3D modeling program, and then we actually build it in the real world. And we've found that this is the best way to learn knowledge. So like, you are a flat earth activist. So when you're not out trying to share the truth with people, you play it in your mind and you think of responses and answers and questions, and you practice it, right? And then what you're doing there is you're manifesting. And like you said before, you try to focus on the positives with the Mandela effect. Instead of being in fear, you're manifesting, okay, this is getting real. This is awesome. And you're actually manifesting positive things that way.
Yeah, it's like the law of attraction almost. So then the law of attraction becomes true in a sense. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's a lot of these new agey things like that have a reality to them. They've just been packaged for resale, especially without credit to the creator of this world.
Yeah, they're like roots. They're like seeds that took root in gravel. They spring up quick, but then the sun comes out and they burn up and die because they're not founded in rich soil, which is the scriptures. So that is, I have heard you talking lately about the scriptures. You were raised Sikh, right? Which I'm Canadian. I'm from Toronto. I one of my hockey arenas was like 50% Sikh. They had a Sikh hockey team, really good too. But I've heard you talking about Christianity. So what we found is, in this reality, there is what we could call a book of life, which is like, on a hard drive, you'll have a file that'll look like a bunch of books. So it'll have all the videos that of all of time. And we found that the scriptures are the most verifiable, reliable source of truth that we found inside the simulation. What do you think of that?
So what do you guys think of all the different versions then of the Bible?
Well, you got to be a good researcher. And if there's a verse that you really need to know exactly what it means, now we can go to the interlinear. So you just look up that verse, you figure out which word it is that you're looking for, and then it'll tell you the Strong's concordance number, and it'll tell you the options for the original word, what the definition of it could be. And yeah, so you just got to double check if it's a verse that's like in question. The average ones you can just sort of fly right through, but once in a while you need to dig down.
Yeah, I think, I went through the whole New Age thing and just submitted to it, thought it had all the answers. I think it does help someone, like if we're coming and we're completely lost in a materialistic self-gratification, youth, the new age can be used as a good stepping stone. And of course,
well, there's a lot of people coming from that avenue. So if you've got a background in it, you can relate to them.
well, exactly. It's just sad that people that get lost, stuck in the new age. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I'm thankful for it. Sometimes I think, when I was had submitted to the new age philosophy, my life was better. I was happier. And then sometimes right now I think, well, I'd like to go back to that, but you can't go back to that knowing what we know. I don't think it would work knowing what I know right now. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I wouldn't find that same kind of level of satisfaction or contentment anymore.
Yeah, flat Earth sort of took that innocence away, didn't it?
Exactly.
So there's another topic that I'd like to get your opinion on, F.E. Focker. So we know that there's so-called conspiracies, which are really, plots that people have made to pull the wool over our eyes. You're out there, arguing everybody in your path. But you do a good job at it too. Do you understand that there are traps laid as conspiracies inside of conspiracies? Like the 9/11 is a perfect example. What are your theories on planes, no planes? That's a conspiracy inside a conspiracy.
Oh, definitely. I mean, the layers are many. I've from when it first happened, like how many different point of views or truths there are within that. Again, it comes down to, I see that now, right? Years later, I think I have an open mind, hopefully, maybe not right away, but some people just get stuck in one kind of a mindset, and it happens to truthers and conspiracy theorists and flat earthers. You know what I mean? They just get stuck in one avenue. It's like the analogy I always use is, you're climbing up a mountain and then you look out and you see a beautiful view and you're like, oh, I made it, where you can't see behind you. And somebody's like, no, come up here another 20 feet. The view's even nicer. And you think it's steep and scary, so you don't want to go there. You know what I mean? But if you do go up there, it's not that hard to climb that extra 20 feet. And yes, the view is so much nicer, or you see so much more. And the same thing's happening, with all these conspiracies. They definitely know that if there are physical beings that are, causing all of these conspiracies, I guess if it's not the Matrix, if it's not God playing with us, or if it's not Satan, messing with us, if it is physical people doing it, they kind of like give you kind of layers to see who has a discernment to see past the first kind of little bit of truth that we're presented with or able to see. You know what I mean? Does it make any sense?
It does.
There's other levels, right?
Well, and I want to say in the most polite way possible that within flat Earth, the AE map and model, it doesn't work. It's just riddled with holes. And then there's all this evidence that we're in some sort of a simulation. And I love the fact that you've been Mandela, because I know that's got to hit deep within you. If you've been convicted by some Mandela effects. So, this is what we do. We take it back to who created this place too. We're firm Bible believers. We're watching for the return of Yahawashi. We know that the name Jesus was created by the Jesuits. We're truthers. We're researchers.
Yeah, you guys keep exploring, right? You're pushing the limits, and that's what you got to do. And if you walk down the wrong road, if you got some options here and you think this is the right road, you walk down and it's a dead end. Hey, you'll walk back and say, okay, now I got to pick a different road.
Exactly.
Well, look at this evidence. When we were in the debate against Red's Rhetoric, when we absolutely destroyed him and Sean Hufford, it was embarrassing, actually. They didn't have anything prepared except for Red's turned some 666 thing. This here is a professor. His name's Dr. George Smoot. And he sent up a balloon with a camera on it that takes pictures of temperatures. And so we know it's not some satellite in space, right? This is an earthbound, balloon-borne experiment that he did. And they analyzed the pictures. And what he did is he said he ran thousands and thousands of simulations. And when the data came back, he would be able to tell by the variations of heat map. And he would know if the Earth was like open, like a concave, or if it was closed like a sphere. And all of the data came back that we lived inside of a flat plane where everything in the universe, let alone the flat Earth, the sky, every bit of light actually comes into our eyes. Therefore, our universe is flat. The density and parameter is 1.0, right? So the other interesting things are, so now that I've got you on here, I'll ask you, I know you're probably going to be a simulation denier, Flat Earth Focker, and a lot of people in the chat, but have you ever played a video game?
Not since I was early teens.
But you did, right?
Yeah.
Did you play against a simulated player or players like other people?
Other people.
Never against like, just a computer game or video game?
I guess some of the games, yeah, it was against the game itself, yeah.
What role did you take? Were you a pawn? Were you a hero?
Oh, always the hero, I guess.
And then in life, you have the same outcome, right? So it goes on to say, if you were a social scientist, would you like to run realistic simulations to test and develop theories, right? Isn't that how we figure out what's true and not?
Sure, yeah, I guess so.
Yep. And then, so as the computers, they get more and more, better and better, it's going to be hard for us to distinguish between, what is a simulation and what is not. And it finds out that if it's a simulation, it'll be like fuzzy on a small scale and hard to really pin down. If we live in a real physical Big Bang cosmology and everything is made of atoms, we should be able to like drill down and find that. But what we find is everything gets fuzzy and it degrades on a small scale. It just turns into nothing. And what we find out is the fact that we can't figure it out is more proof that we actually are in some type of a simulation.
Yeah, I'm not a simulation denier. I mean, that's what I've been thinking about the last couple of weeks. Definitely. I'm thinking the only explanation is it's a simulation, a matrix.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
But a year ago, I scoffed at it when people suggested that, and I think I heard you guys talking about it, and I go, oh, these guys are crazy. I wasn't ready to receive that information, but I stayed open, and now I'm ready to accept that. You know what I mean? I'm not going to pigeonhole myself forever, right? I mean, the answers led me here. And in a year, there may be more answers that'll be like, no, it's not simulation, it's something else. But this moment in time, all roads lead to simulation.
They really do.
You get the bell ringer for that one, buddy. Top shelf. Which line is longer?
They're the same.
They're the same. You know this then. There's some interesting things like, reality is humans are not properly equipped for addressing these questions. Again, it's like I ask you, the player in the video game Mario, does Mario know that he's in a video game?
Exactly. No. Right?
And people are arguing that they're actually sentient beings. Like I had a friend his name was Lucas Mahan. He read a dictionary for a hobby. He was a spelling champ. He would just run Mario into the ground and the hole and like, ha, you kill him. And he'd be like, oh, and right, kill him. Right. It was such a weird example, but he understood on that level that he was abusing that character. And that's the ethical question that people are starting to ask now. And all of this simulation stuff is exactly how the mind control works. When you realize they run the simulation, so they know. So it's Hegelian dialectic, which I know problem, reaction, solution. That's how the New World Order pulled everything over our eyes. Do you want to comment on
that? That's how they pulled everything over our eyes. I mean, like, is there a New World Order? Like, here's the thing. Like, I mean, I realized this last night, and I stayed here and I did a shitty live stream where I couldn't get my thoughts straight. But I don't know if there is any physical beings anymore. I just think they're running a script, and I don't think it's intentional. I don't know if the New World Order is a group of men and women or families sitting in a room conspiring against us. I don't know if that's possible. I think they're just themselves. they're characters and they have no idea what they're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but come on, the whole globe Earth agenda, somebody was behind that. Somebody had to actually say, hey, we're going to present that we're spinning and flying through space, and we're going to teach it to everybody. And somebody had to lead that. Like, it didn't just happen by accident.
That's where the reality breaks down, because, okay, like if I try to think about it, like if I logically say, how would I plan this? And you go, and I'm going to go back 100 years, 200, whatever, like timelines are all mixed up. We don't know what happened 150 years ago. We're just told what happened 150 years ago. So whenever this started, I'm like, who started it? What group of men? How did they get out there and start convincing 50 people? And then that turned into 500 people. That turned into 1,000 people. Like, I cannot conceptualize how that was possible.
Well, I actually have it in a mini documentary, covered all that, because I had the same questions and I researched it and put it all together. And it started with Pythagoras. Pythagoras was the first person to say the Earth was moving, that we were spinning. And he started a cult, and that cult was a bunch of homosexual vegetarians. And
yeah, it's true story.
And then the guys like Sir Isaac Newton and guys like that ended up being Pythagoreans, and they're the ones that started really putting together the model. And then the Vatican is the one that put their stamp of approval on it, and they ran it out through these secret societies of the Freemasons, Jesuits, Rosicrucians,
Knights Templars,
and a whole bunch of others.
Yeah, but that's all speculation.
No, you can verify it. You can find Jason has a bunch of the documents.
Yeah.
You can source it. But again, when I come with the Hegelian dialectic, the problem, reaction, solution is the fact is the Earth was fixed and stationary, and Genesis was the book in the scriptures that everybody knew was real. And so they said, we have to take people away from this. How do we do it? And so they came up. So if we get everybody to believe they're on a ball, then we've got the outcome that we wanted. That's what the Hegelian dialectic is. And they've been using it against us. Like Plato put a bunch of kids in a cave, babies or whatever, I don't know how old, and he watched how they reacted inside their room. They actually have mastered the art of mind control. And I think you maybe like Jason and I have, I guess, been able to wake up from certain things that you've been under your mind control. What was your first wake up moment?
Hold on 1 second.
How about you, Jason?
My first wake up moment was 9/11.
Yeah, that one has to be mine too, I'm sure. And then Sandy Hook, right?
Yeah, so after 9/11, when the big hoaxes started coming along, I'd seen a couple of them, and I sort of dug in and researched. And by Sandy Hook, I knew when it was hitting the headlines to right away go and do a search for Sandy Hook hoax. And right away on YouTube, I found people that were covering it live, and I'm like, yeah,
not anymore.
It's not real.
Now, I actually seen footage of the day that it happened. They had the concrete all spray painted for tear out. Yeah. All the pipes were all located. The school was never in operation. What a joke that was. But so yeah, my first question for you, Effie Focker, was how did you get into all this truth seeking?
Oh my God. I mean, I was first introduced to it, what was I, about 25? I met a guy, and he started talking about just, they had a cure for cancer, and what else? There was a few truths. I don't remember the early truths that he told me about, but he recommended, we just had an amazing conversation. So he recommended David Icke, The Biggest Secret, back in like 98, 99. I think it was 98. And I read that book, and I had a friend who read that book, and we would talk and meet all the time. I started noticing symbolism. I still didn't understand. Obviously, I didn't understand how deep the deception went. So, back then it was like, he talked about Diana's death, Princess Diana's death being a ritualistic sacrifice. So I bought into that whole kind of a dead end. But, it just gave me an understanding the world was not what I thought it was. And as soon as 9/11 happened, it was early in the morning, right? So for us, I'd gotten up around 8:30, right? And then my sister-in-law was like, hey, look what happened in New York. As soon as I went to the TV, I was like, that's controlled demolition. And I was like, okay. Wow. And then I was like, this is, what did I say? I go, this is, in my mind, because of all the David Icke stuff, I thought this is another ritualistic sacrifice, killing of people.
Wow.
Wow.
You were way ahead of me. I was listening to Howard Stern that morning on my way to install some carpet. And we thought that it was, terrorists that Bin Laden sent from his bunker.
Yeah, wow. But here, the thing is, you're a young guy. I'm out there, drinking, partying, trying to get laid and playing sports. And you know what I mean? I want to play hockey. I want to do this and that. You don't understand how big it is because it's not your main priority. And you start talking to people about it and they think you're crazy. No, man, it's terrorists. It's terrorists. So, for the next, so that was 98 and 2000, 9/11 happened, but I still was buying into the system. I still believed a lot of the system in the matrix. Slowly over time, I learned about, vaccines are bad, chemtrails. A friend of mine somebody I knew told me about vaccines and chemtrails, and that was new to me. And that was I can't remember exactly, maybe 2007, 2008. I started learning about 2006. I got in. See, people kept coming into my life and giving me these snippets of what the lies are. But I was open, and it was like always God would send somebody to me with a message, and then there was the diet, what nutrition is, what they're putting in food. What's that? High fructose corn syrup I found out about in 2006. So there's a little bits and pieces that I heard about and what the conspiracies were. And then there came a period of time where, okay, I know 9/11 was fake, and GMOs are bad and they're spraying the skies. A few of these other things, McDonald's is bad, these kind of really basic kindergarten level truths. And then I got really busy in life. I got married, and, I have a business that I was consumed with. And
so my theory is that something happened in 2012 and the veil was basically dropped, because that's when I started to notice things in my reality weren't what I thought they were. And it's just rapidly getting faster. Today, after my afternoon workout and whatever, there's a section of the sky where I'm at, the sun travels through the window, and it was like, bam, it was already gone. It was set behind my vantage point. I was like, wow, time seems to be just flying. Have you noticed that?
Time does seem to be flying. Yeah. Everything is so different. They said when I was young, they did say as you get older, every decade, it'll seem like the years just pass by like hours, the older that you get. So, that might have something to do with it. You remember when we're in our teens and you had the summer vacation, it used to seem like it lasted forever. Now my daughter's got summer vacation. It seems like you snap your fingers and it's over, But in her reality, it's probably a long time, So, yeah, time is flying by. And something happened in 2012, I guess, because that's when I started noticing these memories and things that changed. But I didn't know it was Mandela effect. And like I said, I was so consumed in my life that I didn't notice any of that. And I couldn't really talk about too many. I might have to break for about 10 minutes, but I don't know how long you're going, but I'll try to keep going here. And then about, when was it? 2015? I don't know why, life. I started looking back. Oh, and I'd heard about the Illuminati, Satanism, and that as well throughout all those years. And then in 2015, summer of 2015, for some reason, I started watching Illuminati videos in Hollywood and music industry again. And from that led me to I can't remember, Zachary Hubbard's channel. And
yeah, I knew him.
What's that?
Yeah, I talked with Zach a few times. Tried to battle his stance on the scriptures.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I mean, I just say let people believe what they want to believe. So then it was like you guys, I saw a video that said Sandy Hook is or hoax or whatever it was. Now this is in 2016, I think, early 2016. It came up on my suggestions. When Sandy Hook happened, I was like, that looks weird. When Boston bombing happened, I was like, that doesn't look like a bomb. But I didn't delve into it and think that's not a real bomb. I was just like, what is that? That looks like a smoke bomb at the Boston Marathon. But I didn't question.
Trouser bomb.
Huh?
We call it the trouser bomb because it just blew holes in people's pants, right?
Trouser bomb, yeah.
That was PK's.
I didn't watch a lot of news. It just kind of came up. So, you just kind of sigh at the beginning of, I was watching a lot of TV, and you know how the news will come on and say tonight at 11, this and this, right? So that was the extent of my news watching.
Yeah, I was on We'll Do It Live with a group of a bunch of Canadians and some Americans back in the day. They had a podcast Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. And, we covered, it was Red Pill Revolution, Jeff C. Free Radio Revolution, Press Reset Earth. I remember we covered Ebola. Ebola was hilarious when that came out. There was this Thomas Duncan. We caught them like they were going around spraying people in Africa with Roundup, and they were poisoning the wells. They were giving people vaccines that were actually I think they were Roundup, right? And they were kids were faking being sick. The Ebola hoax was so much. What they do is they just try to bring up so much fear. Right, it's always fear, and most of it's fake. Like wars. What do you think? Are you a nuke? Do you believe in nuke?
Nukes are a hoax. Hold on a second.
That's good. Remember when Galen Windsor ate that? What was it, Jason? That he ate
uranium.
And Lawrence Wright.
He put the Geiger counter on his tongue. Is
and he kept saying there was agents showing up trying to take his uranium stock. And Lawrence Wright actually drank aluminum barium. He chugged a shot of it just to show people that the chemtrail thing is a complete lie. It's basically to rabbit hole people that are waking up to the truths in reality. And I've seen photographs from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and all the skies have contrails or whatever.
Well, yeah, I think that's a Mandela effect because I do not remember them all at all as a kid. I remember clear blue skies all.
Yeah, me too.
You know what I mean?
I remember blue skies.
And the clouds are lower, or the clouds being lower are a huge Mandela effect for me right now. It's just ridiculous. It feels like I could jump up and touch the clouds. That's how low they are.
I know. I've got a drone, so I can send it up into the. It only goes up 1,600 feet, and I can get into the clouds sometimes. So they're not that far.
Yeah, I'll just finish up. So then I heard about Sandy Hook. It took, I think it was a 2-hour video. Within 30, 40 minutes, I was like, oh my God, the shooting was fake. And then from there, it was Boston bombing feed came on, and what was the other one? Holocaust hoax. I mean, I watched one documentary on that, and I was like, oh my God, there's so many holes in that. But I couldn't compute that 60 years later, in 60 years, or since I was a kid, let's just say it happened in the 40s and 1980, early 80s, in that time, everybody believed this happened. So, I couldn't conceptualize how they fucking brainwashed us with the Holocaust. And then, but then also flat Earth. I'm not flat.
You know how they did it? They repeated the story 6 million times.
Oh yeah, exactly. I know now we know how. Now I know how they did it. But you got to. My mind back then couldn't understand. Like, you know what I mean? Now it's like easy to see how they brainwashed us and how they, they gave enough information about what happens. What was released. Like, you print the newspapers, and you have certain people controlling newspapers. Of course, you got the world believing it, and when enough people bow down to news anchors and newspapers, they're going to believe what it says. And when it
manifest it, right, it becomes real. And that's the big game that they try to play. They want fear, like CERN is going to rip a hole in reality, even though they try to tell you that we live on a Big Bang cosmology, atomism reality, but it's never going to happen. It's that fear.
Well,
go ahead.
It's the manifesting thing. So if you take it back to your New Agey days, or if you look at it from us being in a simulation, what you hold in mind tends to manifest what you believe, right? So if they have our minds under control and they have us in fear, they're just going to have us constantly rendering bad things happening. And it's going to keep everybody down. If we have control of our minds, if we know the truth, if we are solid that way, and we just make good decisions all the time and don't operate from fear, we can change reality super positive.
Yeah, that is the goal, right? And to share the scriptures, because that is what we've been able to verify.
Well, it's the source of all the truth.
As well as we've been able to sort of backdate how they've done metal work, the way they've progressed with creating steel and hardened steel. There's the Bronze Age, and there are some things that we can hold to that seems to be verifiable. That's the hardest part of being a truth seeker, is that you have to discern what is good evidence and what is bad. And it's a constant process for me and you, right, brother?
Yeah, well, it's got to be testable, observable, repeatable.
That's right.
Document everything, right?
That's what we try to do. I don't know if you guys want to go later. We had a pretty good turnout tonight. I guess Flat Earth Focker brought some people over. It was great to see.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I hope we did the best that we could to sort of share as much as we could in this small time period. We usually have people join us from the chat as well. So if there's anybody that's new next Friday, because this Friday we had F.E. Focker join us, we didn't want to bring 10 people on, but if you guys tune in next Friday, you can join in and give your way in on all of these topics. I wouldn't mind seeing Jason bring out the flow chart again. The direct path to simulation realization, how we show people how we go through different layers of truth.
Yeah, we can do it. I probably want to spruce it up, and we made that when we first met, and we've come a long way since then. What I liked about tonight with Flat Earth Focker being able to join us is to show people that you can have differing opinions on stuff and still have a civilized, good conversation. You can just go through the evidence, and everybody's going to come to their conclusion. They're going to weigh the evidence, and it makes me sick that so many of the popular flat earth channels just automatically shut us out and weren't going to allow us to say what we've been seeing. And
Eric's here if you want to let him in.
Okay.
But yeah, completely, brother. Jaron and Bob gave us a little bit of attention way back in like 2017, and that debate that I showed with Jaron in 2018. Hey, Derek Laborde from Document Everything on Facebook has joined us. How's it going, brother? Take it away. I've been talking all night long. You might be muted.
It's all right. We can keep talking.
Go ahead.
Yeah, if Fokker has a few minutes before he leaves, I just want to, say to him personally, I appreciate. What I would like to get to know him better. I'd like to know some more of what is it that makes people like the fact that he saw a controlled demolition on 9/11. That's pretty amazing. I think there's something special in Flat Earth Fokker to be able to see something like that. He appears to me to be a person destined to be awake and care about the truth. So I hope we can stay in communication.
Yeah, well, that's the goal. I know we definitely are two of the most dogmatic. We will fight to the death for every single inch of truth that's possible. We're not like anyone else in the truth movement. We do everything for free, for just simply to fight for the truth. We take it like the what's the oath that the American military says, that they're there to defend those that can't defend themselves. So we look at truth as the same thing, that we defend truth because it doesn't, like, we want to just share it, right? So I think Flat Earth Fokker is back, and we'd never heard from Derek.
Yeah.
Derek. Who's Derek?
Sorry, brother. I'm here. I didn't want to interrupt you guys. I had myself muted.
He's a buddy of ours that started a Facebook group, Document Everything.
Okay.
How you doing, brother?
I'm having trouble hearing you. Can you speak up?
I said, how you doing, brother? Can you hear me now?
There we go. Much better. That's good. I'm just typing a message in the chat. Give me a sec.
No problem.
Sorry, I got to keep getting distracted here for another 10 minutes maybe, but
You're a busy guy. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
yeah, I wanted to go back to the map. So I guess I'll let you guys do the research on the sunsets. So look up sunrise, sunset in June, and see how it makes sense. And then I looked up like London and Barcelona, and London's getting earlier sunsets than Barcelona. So that makes no fucking sense. So check that out, and check out the Vancouver, Phoenix, LA, San Francisco sunrise and sunsets in June. It doesn't make any sense. So you guys might have to tweak your map with that. And then somebody else was asking for about the 3 days of sunlight in the north.
Well, that's one of the things that we've been covering a bunch, is that there is no real footage of a 24-hour above the horizon sun in either the north or the south. And that right there is a big heliocentric buster.
Sunlight
globe.
I think we're getting feedback. That's one of the things that we've been.
Hold on, is that my video?
No, it was Derek. You hit the 3 dots, Jason. But yeah, no, the only proof we have is CGI stuff. It's labeled animation. We did the back research on it. There should be 52 days with the sun above the horizon in the Arctic Circle, where it doesn't set. Yet we don't have any footage of someone with a compass taking a snapshot once every hour showing us that the sun doesn't set.
Didn't D Marble do that last year?
Yeah, but what we covered when he was doing that was that he perfectly positioned a hill where he was recording from, right in the area where you would want to make sure that the sun didn't go below the horizon at all. So he had a hill in the way, but we also showed that he doctored his footage, and what he showed originally in a live stream, and then what he put out in video was he had manipulated it and it was altered.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll have to ask him next time I talk to him.
Yeah, well, we've got all the videos and it's all documented. We
Yeah.
have his original footage and the doctored footage that he put out afterwards.
Yeah, we covered it all like play by play as he was doing it. He showed, one spot he showed the sun setting, and then he positioned himself right beside a hill here. Right there, he just showed the sunset, right? You just said that D Marble filmed a 24-hour sun.
And it goes down.
Well, maybe it's 24-hour daylight.
Yeah,
well, that's what we've been saying, that there might be 24-hour daylight, but nobody's ever actually, and this is a globe debunk. See, this is what they've done with the flat earth, is they've come out with a bunch of false proofs that are lies. So the horizon always rises to eye line. Well, actually, when we rise altitude, it drops a little bit. It's not perfectly to eye line. That's one that the ball earthers get to do. And the 24-hour up all day sun is an actual globe killer. It doesn't kill the flat earth at all.
No.
They need it up like 50 days. Where it never sets. Where it never sets for 50 days. But D Marble went up there and look at it set.
It's set. And you see this hill here, because then the next video, there it rises again from the east. It sets in the west. Just like this. You see our map here?
Yeah.
On the right, it's setting here, and then it's rising right here. And D Marble shows it right here. This is exactly what our map demands. This circular line here, it sets and then it rises again. And he's got it perfectly documented, yet he's telling people that it stays above the horizon. It never does. It does a complete arc across up in the sky so high that he had to hold something up in the air to show you. It was just ridiculous. But then where's the next clip where it all of a sudden rides the hill? It's really bad CGI, and we called them out, man. And he just lies, ducks, shrugs, blocks, bans. This is the CGI here. See how the sun set there?
Yeah.
And then his next clip, he's going to show it riding along here. This is what the next clip that he gives us.
And then somebody mentioned this all daylight flight from New York to Russia.
Okay.
I heard about that. I don't know what it is. I heard about it once. I think somebody took a flight once where they could see the sun the whole time. I don't know from where to where, but somebody in the chat's trying to say it's from New York to Russia.
Well, Ronnie's made a case for the longest time that no human being has ever seen the sun travel from west to east.
Okay.
Right? And if it stayed up above the horizon 24 hours, we would see it travel from west to east.
Well, and the other issue too, in this CGI here, that supposedly of the 24-hour sun, the sky stays completely blue. This was the first, Simon Wilkes was the guy that originally posted the video that all the flat earthers, because of Eric Dubay, use. And what I was showing is I was contrasting D Marbles, who is a little bit south of the Arctic Circle, obviously, shows the beautiful sunset colors. So people are going to tell me that just 100 miles north of here, where this is filmed, has no colors. This was another huge problem that I had. And that's the one that he changed. It's just, I wish people would be more truthful about their research, and at least hold themselves to be accountable. Like, you're here, we've invited D Marble, all these people many times. Nobody.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, people don't, I like to, talk to someone face to face and be like, let's be clear on our communication. Let's see what this person's all about. That's why I think people are just running a script. I don't think they're sinister inside. Like, that's my realization the last couple of days.
They're NPCs?
What's that?
NPCs?
Well, NPCs is a little bit different. Like, they're completely brain dead and fluoridated. I just think, like, even I might be running a script. Maybe you guys are even running a script, because people can call you guys shilled. Like, a lot of people make good points for you guys being shilled. I don't think you're shilled. I don't think anybody's a shill. I think we just have our behavior, and then other people perceive it as shilly. You know what I'm saying?
So would you agree that the truth has to be the determining factor as to whether or not a person is a shill or not, but even a person that inadvertently is spreading lies and disinformation, they're still technically shilling, even if they're not being paid. They're just fooled and deceived. But the truth, whoever's speaking truth, that person can't be a shill.
Well, that's what I mean. I think they're still shills, but I think they're shills for the matrix or the simulation. You know what I mean? And we're going to perceive them as shills, of course. So I find a lot of behavior shilly in my world and from my perception, but I don't think right now the realization I've had the last few days is I can point to Patricia Steer and say, she's a tranny, shill, gatekeeper, whatever you want to call her. I can't do that. I can say certain people's behavior is shilly and they're shills of the matrix. And I think I talked about it in a live stream. I said flat earth shills take direction from the matrix. So I agree with you totally. Yeah, they're shills, but they're shills for the matrix. And in their world, I really think in their world, they are telling the truth and they are living truth in their world, in their reality, just as I am in my world and you are in your world.
Well, I would disagree on a semantic point. I wouldn't say that they're shills for the matrix, because what they promote is the AE map model, which is what would be the physical reality, where there's a dome and an ice wall and all the atomism, the materialistic, mindset, the duality, the belief in atoms and all that kind of stuff. That's the AE map model, where everything's still physical. You're in a dome, you're in a snow globe, and that's the materialistic way of seeing things. The matrix right here is we're in some sort of simulation or realm, and it's built on a flat plane, and what you hold in mind tends to manifest. It's not the materialistic AE map model.
I agree with you. They're pushing that, but honestly, they're stuck in that level. And I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say, you're right, it's incorrect. But in their world, that's where they're at. In that mountain I was talking about, they're at that level and they're afraid. They haven't turned around and decided, let me go a little bit further. You know what I mean? To see something else. So yeah, they're pushing something false, something physical, but in their world, I think in their heart, they feel that's what they're doing. I don't think they're hiding something intentionally. You know what I mean? I like to call people cowards. You know what I mean? Or I guess it's a certain level of NPC that's happening in their behavior, but I would say it's more cowardly than intentional.
Well, one of the things that I've seen that makes me think it's intentional is the way that there's both non-Christian and the Christian AE map model promoters, and what they're trying to do, both sides are trying to work together to tie the Bible to the AE map model. And keep in mind, they always promote the King James Bible, which is a Freemason Bible. Was it Robotham? What was his name? Sir William Burley Robotham?
Samuel.
He was part of Zetetic societies. These are Freemason societies, and so there was an obvious agenda that goes all the way back to Sir Francis Bacon, King James, to promote this false dialectic, where it was going to be the Jesuit globe versus the Freemason AE map model, and they're trying to tie it to the Bible. And so what we've been saying all along, this is still my position, that that the New World Order, that UN map logo, that is all about these secret societies connecting the Bible to an impossible working model, so that when they would blow it all up and say, hey, no, this isn't true, we were faking you, this was, flat earth is just nothing but a reality show where we're trying to make fun of Christians, that it was their way of burying the truth, that we're on a flat plane. and discrediting the Bible all at once.
I couldn't have said it better. Maybe Derek can weigh in right now. Well, he's got the chance.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I was participating in the chat, so.
Yeah, I remember when we started, Jason would always be like, Ronnie? And just at the time I would walk away, but go ahead, Derek.
I'm sorry, man. I wasn't actually with you guys at the moment. I was weighing in on something in the chat, so I missed the last few seconds.
Oh, that's all right. I was just on a rant.
You guys want to bring me up to speed? I'd love to chime in.
Well, if we got Focker back, what other questions would you have for us while you got us right here?
Yeah, we'll look into the sunsets. I'm interested in what you guys find with that. What else do I want to talk to you guys about? Well, just let these people leave for a sec. It's a little noisy. Anybody left?
One more.
Okay. No, I mean, do you have any questions? Oh yeah, no, you were talking about the King James. Just a quick answer. I missed it. I had to walk away. So which Bible do you guys consider to be the Word of God?
Oh, there's a bunch. The older translations, the better they go back to the original text. The King James isn't that bad of a Bible overall, but Sir Francis Bacon was given time to edit the Bible before it was put out for publication, and the scriptures that have to do with the shape of the earth are the ones that have been most doctored. The problem that I have is words like firmament were introduced when the original word that was there was rakia, and to all of a sudden introduce a word like firmament is a huge deception, because the word rakia means vault or horizon, and firmament really gives the impression of there being a dome, right?
So do you think there's a barrier?
I believe what the scriptures tell us, as much as we can conclude from the scriptures, you know, when I look at Enoch and all the holy inspired scriptures, that's what I go with. But no, not a physical dome, not in a simulation. Why would you put a physical dome? It's not necessary. We know that the sun and moon aren't doing circles. So
what do you think of that amateur rocket that hit something? You think that was fake?
Well, no, they debunked that. See, I was in Flat Earth back then too. That was a spin arrest system that was deployed. They completely admitted that and told everybody that's it shoots a parachute out and it stops it. Huh?
Yo-yo. It's a yo-yo device.
Yo-yo device. That's right. That was never in question. That was only like some stupid. It was probably Rob Skiba or I put it in a video too. I'm just to blame. I have it in a video mixed with the Book of Enoch. The Book of Enoch was huge. How about this proof? I guess I don't know if you saw the debate, but what Jason brought in, because Ute actually had this video up. If the Earth were spinning and flying through space like they proclaim, we should have a huge difference in speed here. There should be acceleration and deceleration periods, right? That has never been measured. What do you think of that?
Oh, of course not. No, it's the Earth is not spinning and moving. Exactly. 100% agree. I mean, I don't know how, I mean, to believe the Earth is spinning and moving now is absolutely absurd, man. It's like
why didn't Jaron bring this up in his debate? Did you watch that? Like, see, I don't know if you're someone who follows. I haven't seen you really doing any podcasts with like Dearth or any of the Patricia Steer. Are you still with that group? Like, are you planning on going? You're not going to Toronto, you said, but you might be going to Dallas.
Toronto's canceled. I don't know if you guys heard.
Oh, okay. I would have probably guessed.
Yeah, you know, they take it off the website. I heard about it, and then I messaged Robbie on Facebook, and he said, yeah, it's not on. I'd like to, I mean, I'm not a part of any group. I'm my own. I want to be cordial with everybody. Somebody, when I said I'm going to be on your guys' show, somebody's like, oh my God, don't do it, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, man, I want to go talk to these guys. I talk to everybody. I want to be cordial with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I don't talk. I did Patricia's show last year, January, I think. She hasn't invited me back, and we don't email or message. Mark Sargent, I just email him every month and say, this is our meetup date. He does a promotion video, puts it on his channel. I mirror it on my channel because I don't do editing, you know what I mean? And then it gets out to all his 80,000 subs. And yeah, so I mean, I'm not part of any group. I'm just friendly with everybody. And because I'm at the conference, I talk to people, and I sat down and had a meal with them. So I'm not part of any crew. I am me. I mean, I chat with the activists, we do our activist hangout, and, I consider us closer than anybody because we talk regularly, we message regularly. So out of flat earthers that are on YouTube, those are the ones I'm, I guess, friendliest with. I don't necessarily agree with everything they do and say and want to do, but, we're trying to promote activism and spreading the truth about flat earth and the globe lie. Yeah, nobody else has invited me or asked me to come on their show. So there, that's where I'm at. Like, I mean, I wanna do a show with Vegan Warrior. We finally hooked up through Dell's show last weekend. I want to plan a 90 minutes and 120 to do a live stream with him. And I've called D Marble up a couple of times when I drive through Tacoma, and we've met up and had lunch and dinner together. And that's about it, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I love the fact that so many of these people are like afraid to talk to us. And I love the fact that you were willing to.
Yeah, no, I don't have a problem. I'll talk to anybody, right? You know what I mean? I mean, I don't understand why people are afraid and they just want to be separate. Again, I think that's the behavior trait. And people like you guys went to, Ronnie, did you do the whole New Age thing as well or no?
I read the Celestian Prophecy, and I kind of was like New Agey with growing vegetables, but no, most of my life I've been a follower of the scriptures, thankfully.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's not an explanation, but I think it just makes us a little bit more open. And if some people just remain closed, they didn't peel back the layers of their youth and emotional trauma of their childhood, you know what I mean? Yep. So they kind of still live in that with those layers on. They haven't peeled them. They haven't done that work. So
you got to lose that victim mentality, right? Where you accept things for what they are and you like take control of your actions. I definitely feel you there completely.
Yeah, exactly. So, that people want their comfort, right? And if somebody's going to push their emotional boundaries, they're not going to want to do that, whether you're a regular person or a truther. I think that's a human condition. Man, I have problem fucking, getting to these levels with my wife, and she's married to me. So that causes a lot of tension in our marriage because she totally wants to stay in her comfort, emotional comfort.
Nathan Roberts said Rob Skiba saved his marriage, right?
Well, I ended up having to divorce my wife because she wanted nothing to do with truth research.
Yeah. I mean, I got to that point. I mentioned on my stream, I went to a lawyer to try to figure out the logistics of that. I go, I'm fucking done after all these years. You know what I mean? She's come around a little bit in the last month and seems more accepting and more open and all of that. But there was a point about, I think it was about a month ago. It was like, you could see it on a live stream that, I was done. She's the nicest woman in the world. She's like Mother Teresa Hart. But I was just like, just because somebody's a good, nice person doesn't mean we're meant to be good together. You know what I mean? And a lot of people, they forget that, right? So it's, and a lot of truthers, like you said, you divorced your wife. And I talked to some people, some subs, they're not on YouTube, and they're all going through the same thing, right?
See, that's why I was so thankful that Jason was in the documentary. And you know, that was probably one of the most important truths is when you become a truth seeker, you are going to have issues with family and friends. Like, why hide that? Why pretend that that's not going to happen?
Yeah, exactly.
It's part of it. It's part of it. We get set apart. The scriptures talk about us. We reject the world, and we're separate ourselves from it. So I find it interesting. The four of us that are here, the fact that we've all been willing to take that step to reject, you know, the lies of this world, and it's boggles my mind what it is that brings, you know, certain people to that, and other people are just more than willing to go along with, you know, all these lies and stuff just to, like, I don't know, fit in, or I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah, we can't, are we, this is my question. Are we supposed to figure it out? Like, it tortures us trying to figure it out because we want to help humanity. And if we kind of awaken together, it'll be better life and society for everybody. But when people don't want to wake and stay in their emotional victimhood or whatever it is, then all of society suffers. So it's quite the dilemma. Like, you know, I mean, it's hard to figure out. But do we? That's what I don't know. Are we supposed to? We're here trying to figure it out. But should we be doing this, or should we not be doing this? No, that's what I question, right?
Fighting for the truth is never going to hurt. Well,
whether you call yourself a Christian or not. Go ahead.
One thing I know for sure, I don't know much, and I'm confused about a lot of things. One thing I know at this moment in time, the bottom of my heart to the fullest 1,000,000% is I need to walk in truth. That's all I know for sure right now.
Yep.
Whatever that way, I may be misguided in some areas, but as long as I believe that's 100% truth right now, and there's nothing I'm holding back and all these issues, then that I know. And if there are issues that I don't know about right now within myself that I uncover in a month or a year, then I need to clean those issues, get them out of the way, and continue to walk in truth.
Well, I think Derek wanted to add.
Yeah, there's just one thing I want to say in all politeness. We can show you that the truth is that the AE map and model doesn't work. And we can do that a whole bunch of ways.
I agree with you. You can show the viewers. I agree with you.
Go ahead, Derek. Sorry, guys.
I was just going to kind of chime in on what is causing people to really just hunker down in what they've been told their whole lives. For a while, I thought it was ego, and I think that does play a large role. But I think really what we're dealing with is just hardcore laziness, like just dirty, slothful laziness, because it's taken all of us, however many years you've been alive, it's taken you that long to learn everything you know up until this point in time. And if someone comes along and says, hey, the foundations of all the knowledge that you built for yourself is faulty and you need to completely tear it down and start over, it's a monumental task. And people are so caught up in just vain nonsense and just complete self-gratification, instant self-gratification, that no one wants to put in the time to become a master anymore. This way you don't see true master musicians out there anymore. There's not a whole lot of master craftsmen left because no one wants to put in the 10,000 hours it takes to become a skilled master at something. And what is more important than knowing the truth? Like, if you're going to put your 10,000 hours into anything in the world, what could possibly be more important than knowing the truth about the reality around you, about the world that you live in? What could possibly be more important?
Video games?
Red Dead Redemption's pretty good, man.
You deleted a comment from Sativa and me. What happened to it? What was wrong with that comment, Ronnie?
No, that just manually did that feel for you. Maybe Focker, they're thinking it's a swear word. Maybe it's
No,
we've
no,
got
he
this
said
swear word.
he meant like I feel you, like he
Oh,
resonates.
that's cool. That wasn't blocked. It was manually.
Okay.
YouTube hit it because it thought it was a curse word.
Ah, okay. Oh, there it is. There it is.
I
Yeah.
fixed it for you.
So did you guys watch Nathan Roberts' video yesterday?
No.
He basically sold everybody out. He
What?
said,
Yeah, right.
Rob Skiba's a scammer. He's not a real Christian. Nathan Thompson's a sellout. Robbie Davidson, something's iffy with him. He called out, he goes, he doesn't know if Patricia is a man or a woman, and he doesn't know, and he can't tell, and she's probably a witch. And he wants nothing to do with them.
Everything we've been saying for years. But you know, what's funny is he was at the conference, right? He was a speaker in the second room, right?
This just happened yesterday.
Yeah, well, we think that it might be controlled arguments, but hey, if he's coming towards the truth, that's like what Jason says. All we do is we come out here, we speak the truth, and it's like we're prying the truth. Every click we get, it's like click, it's a little bit closer to what we've been sharing. So that's great news. Wow.
Come along, winch.
You gotta check that out from yesterday.
He really likes the AE map and model, though. He's all about that.
Well, yeah, like I said, people it works for some people, and that's fine.
Yeah, but it doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work, but you have to do the work.
I understand.
You have to investigate it to realize it doesn't work.
But it doesn't mean the earth isn't flat. And, and I do understand that a lot of people woke up to Alex Jones, and we all know Alex Jones is a Satanist or a liar.
I woke up with David Ike,
David Ike. So I do believe the original AE map and model was like a stepping stone towards truth. And I just, like you were saying before, the NPC level, for someone to not continue to do the research, it's going to be on their shoulders, not mine and yours.
Yeah, I like Nathan. I think he's a really wonderful guy. I'm not saying anything negative. He may even watch this. I told him I'm going to be on your show, right? So he may even watch this. I'm not saying anything negative. I'm just pointing out to you guys that he doesn't believe in Rob Skiba at all anymore.
I'm glad. We had him on, and we were totally cool. It's all documented. And as soon as we brought up that we thought Brobotham was a Freemason or a Knights Templar, he said that we were harassing him. He said I was Ronnie harassed because we want to share the truth. And that was my goal. I never really wanted to condemn the guy, but then he came out and he was like, not only is it the right map, but I'm going to teach it to children. And he got all nasty with us, man. And I'm like, whoa, I have nothing but love for Nathan, for any of these guys, Rob Skiba, Dean Odell, Robbie Davidson. Robbie Davidson shared a documentary that Jason and I inspired another guy to make, and it's Robbie Davidson's highest ranking video. It's got 2.4 million views on it. It's got all of our research and great flat earth truth in that documentary. And so, like I said, man, I'm praying for all of these guys on the other side of the team. We just care about the truth, man. At the end of the day, everything is forgiven. I forgive everybody for all of their sins as long as they come to the truth. I'm a sinner too, man. I'm not perfect.
And we're not doing this for money. We're not selling nothing. So it's not like we're out here to profit off of some angle. We're just doing this as unbiased researchers.
Of course, yeah, you guys are searching. And if you make mistakes, that's fine. And people don't agree with them. Like I'm here saying I didn't agree with the first time I saw the map on your channel. But now I'm here and I continue to search. And at this moment, I'm ready to accept that map as being truer than the AE. When I first saw that, I thought that's fucking some ridiculous shit. Going off one end, coming on the other end. But hey, with the Matrix, maybe the planes do fly off and just appear on the other side of this map. Like that's just bizarre to really, if we're stuck in the physical, of course, that's complete nonsense. And people are going to think we're whack jobs here even talking about this.
Yeah, but once you get Mandela and a few other things, then all of a sudden you can start to see it.
Is my vape really loud when I vape?
It's a little loud, not super loud.
Usually I remember to mute, but I keep forgetting today. My bad.
It's all right.
I think it's been great. I think it's been fun. I'm glad that your subscribers came over, and I'm thankful that you're standing up for Nathan and sharing that he was telling some truth. That's great. I love to hear that, man. That made my day.
Yeah, I mean, just search it on his videos from yesterday. I think it was about 40, 50 minutes long. He's got a part 1 and a part 2. I haven't seen the part 2. I think it's because of Behind the Curve that led him to all of this, because they changed their favicon to the black cube, the satanic black cube. So
yeah, I saw that part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but no, he separated himself pretty much. Flat Earth Focker creates chemtrails. What?
Yeah. Oh, with your vape. The funny thing too, there was a Canadian guy who lived, I think, in Saskatchewan. He converted cars to run on water. He was the first one, and the byproduct was a chemtrail, like a cloud, right, that followed behind the car. That guy got killed. They found him in the trunk of his vehicle.
Was that guy Canadian? I thought he was I thought he was Californian. Okay, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, he was from the prairies. What else are you gonna do out there, right? Solve the world's problems. So we also do free energy as well. Jason's built a flywheel generator, and are you looking into any of that kind of stuff?
Flywheel generator for energy?
Free energy. It's going to be here. I'll pull up the video so everyone can see. I don't know if your viewers know. There's a lot of people out here that talk about free energy, like gold busters, and then they actually don't do anything. Jason actually built this. This was the maiden voyage.
It's a 250-pound flywheel.
Absolutely hum, and the alternator that's on there, it doesn't even.
I couldn't talk and adjust the dial
You could have
at the same time.
I can't even count how many different alternators you could have attached to this thing. This little scooter motor can absolutely make this flywheel hum. And so we're going to have as many alternators as we need running off of this thing to drive whatever we want.
Yeah, that's something that we do. So the flywheel that he has is heavy steel, and it spins, and then it turns a lesser mechanism, which would be an alternator, and that's going to hopefully power his trailer. So this would be the first fuelless flywheel generator.
No fuel.
Cool.
Can you is in the video, does it show the alternator on the other side? There it is. Yeah, so you could have many alternators running off of this thing, and it's just a little scooter motor, 300 watts or 500 watts. But with the different size sprockets there, you can get super high revolution. So I'll have 3,000 RPMs on the alternator and be throwing out, let's see, what amp is that alter? It's a 24 volt 100 amp, but yeah, I sold my property and moved into an RV, and I want to produce my own electricity so that I don't have to pay for electric anymore. And I want to do it without having to, pay for fuel either.
No, of course. What's going on here?
Yeah, we're looking forward to that. They tell us that it can't be done. They tell us so much that things can't be done. I think Derek might want to weigh in.
And I also want to throw out a video about an idea that I had about electric cars, as to it's ridiculous that we need to have all these big banks of batteries and have to plug them in and charge them, because well, all you need to have is one wheel driving, and the other three can be generating. All right, so you can have 3 generating while one's driving, and that should keep your batteries charged. So you wouldn't have to, it's called regenerative braking, but there's no reason why you couldn't have the other 3 wheels charging while one's driving. And if that's not enough, you could put down another drop wheel to the ground and have that be running another alternator.
A 5th wheel.
Yeah.
There's so many ideas, right? And they had this technology way back in the early 1900s. They had cars that could drive off just a motor in the wheel, and they totally buried it. There's such cons. And the other thing too that's really powerful is steam energy. We were working on that. Steam power is so powerful.
Yeah, but we do plan on taking it to not having to pay for electricity or fuel anymore.
I put there you go.
It's funny sharing a link to Nathan Roberts on here after all the slanderous things that we called him a Satanist too, but you know, we had evidence to back what we were saying, that he was promoting false lies and doctrine. But again, if he's speaking truth, man, that's great. That just validates again that we've been saying this stuff over and over. I guess Derek, go ahead.
I didn't actually have anything to add, man. I was just finally rejoining the video chat.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, the thing that would be super amazing with Nathan is if he would come out and admit that the AE map model doesn't work. And if that were to happen, I think we would be probably realigned as brothers in truth.
Yeah, totally. I've been praying for him. I pray for ODD. I pray for everybody. Like, people think, oh, Jason and Ronnie are the witch hunters and this and that. Well, honestly, I just want everyone to share the truth. That's it.
Yeah, well, I mean, we don't know what the truth is. We just want everybody to be more. I just want everybody to be more open-minded.
Well, there's some truth that we know, and I mean, like, one of the big ones that we keep pounding on is the flaws of the AE map model. We don't want to be attached to something that can be debunked as being impossible. So, have you ever, in your New Age studies, did you ever hear about the process of negation?
No, I didn't.
So the process of negation is a way to come to the truth by discrediting all other possibilities. When you say this could be a possibility, and then you study it and it's falsifiability. You figure out whether or not it's true or not. Once it's been discredited as not being true, it's discarded, and you just keep looking. So it's the path that you talked about, where a bunch of times there's dead ends. You go down, you find out it's a dead end, you just eliminate that route, and you keep going. So it's true, we may not know all the truth, but what we can do is discredit everything that's not true. And that'll just continually get us closer and closer to the most accurate truth.
Yeah. That's the only thing we can do through process of elimination. Which one of these things don't work? That's a great point, Jason. But yeah, I think tonight was great. The fact, like, you know, we'll ask more people out there. Are there any other real people on the flat earth? Leave a comment below. You know, share the video. That's the only thing we ask for. And thanks so much for joining us. You brought, you might have the record. If we had 80 people here, that'll probably be the highest we ever had on my channel, man. Wow.
Wow. Yeah, I think there was up to 80 at one point. So
you got the record, man. Thanks, Flat Earth Focker. That's awesome.
Yay. No, it was great. I mean, I enjoyed this conversation, and it was so awesome. You guys are easy to talk to. You know, there's no drama, and we weren't cutting each other off. We all spoke. We were all respectful. I think it was great. Maybe we can do it again in a few weeks or a month or so. You know, if there's something new on the horizon.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Do you have anything you want to add, Derek?
I was just going to say, I mean, thank you for coming on and representing yourself in a professional, courteous, amicable way. I really feel like we all gained something from tonight's show. Generally, when somebody comes on with an even almost opposing viewpoint, things escalate because people just can't talk about what they believe without getting triggered. But you did an absolutely fantastic job, man. So it was really nice having you on and hearing you out. I'll subscribe to your channel. Look forward to hearing what else you have to say.
Yeah, just a warning though to everybody here. I know you guys are more Christian and biblical and all that. My channel, I swear a lot sometimes. It gets a little raunchy, so just a little warning. Like, you know, some hardcore Christians might come in there, and I'm not always this pleasant, especially sometimes when I'm doing my rants or live streaming. So just a warning. I appreciate anybody coming over and subbing and watching any videos. Sometimes I have something to say that you might learn from, but sometimes you might be offended. So that's my warning.
Well, awesome. Well said.
Yeah, well, I appreciated it, and we hope that. Thank you to everybody in the chat. Tonight's been great because we've had a good mixture of people in the chat, and everybody's actually stayed mostly on topic. Great, huge shout out to Yao's daughter and Derek for helping keep it clean and putting people on timeout, not banning and blocking. We're going to be back on Sunday with scriptures. I'll play us out with a video, but Jason and Derek and you guys want to get the last word in. I'm just thankful that we had tonight. Yeah, super thankful to Flat Earth Focker and everybody in the chat and Derek and Jason.
Yeah. Thank you, Flat Earth Focker, and look forward to talking more.
Yeah, no, thank you guys for having me on, man. It was my pleasure. Awesome.
All right. Good night, all.
Where did you hear this, Derek?
Only on Beyond Flat Earth.
Hi guys, it's Jet Skeptic Media here. This is such an exciting day. This is where we're going to see the Flat Earthers' first model. I heard Flat Earth British talking about it on a hangout with Doomweaver, and this is going to be history in the making. I can't wait. This is so exciting. Globebusters have their first map, working map. This is going to blow all the skepticism away. Even me. I might even change my name to Jed Flat Earth Media. My heart's beating here. I can't wait. Let's go, guys. Let's watch this.
Oh, you heard that right. Join Awake Souls, Jason Laufenberg, and Ronnie Harris of Event Skeptic.
I can't wait. This is so exciting. Globebusters have their first map, working map. It's...
Okay. The Flat Earth working map and model. Macro to micro. Stars to the sun.
Will always be lined up where the north is.
Oh man, I just feel like I ate some manna.
Different grid work than this. It was just a rectangular grid work, but I forgot to adjust the angle. Timeanddate.com. It's 63 degrees. It's the sunrise angle to, was it 87
is the sunset and
Tonight, live at 8 p.m. Central. Only on Beyond Flat Earth.